Most people know that a request was made by a woman for the head of John the Baptist, but few know the politics behind that request, because this was never just about a dance. It was about power, reputation, fear, and a king who could not afford to look weak.
Silence! I am the law!
The man sitting on the throne was Herod Antipas, a ruler not crowned by God, but installed by Caesar Augustus's empire.
By the will of Rome, I crown you King of the Jews.
He governed under pressure, always walking a tightrope between Roman expectations and Jewish sensitivities. One wrong move and everything could collapse. Now enter the scandal. Herod had taken Herodias, his brother's wife, as his own. Not quietly, not discreetly, publicly, boldly.
Seize the woman. No, my brother, don't do this.
And in doing so, he violated both Jewish law and moral order. Most people whispered, but one man spoke. John the Baptist did not negotiate truth. He didn't soften it. He stood in the open and declared,
"It is not lawful for you to have her. Arrest this man."
That single sentence was more dangerous than a sword, because John wasn't just confronting sin, he was threatening legitimacy. If the people began to question Herod's moral authority, they might soon question his political authority. And a ruler who loses the trust of his people becomes a problem Rome cannot ignore. So Herod did what insecure power often does. He silenced the voice. He arrested John. But here's where it gets complicated. Herod didn't want John dead. Scripture reveals something unexpected. Herod feared John. He knew he was a righteous man. He even listened to him, intrigued, disturbed, yet unable to turn away. John wasn't just a prisoner. He was a problem Herod couldn't solve without consequences. Execute him and risk a public uprising. Release him and appear weak in front of Herodias. And Herodias? She wasn't wrestling with conscience. She wanted John gone. Because John's voice wasn't just exposing sin, it was exposing her. And in royal courts, exposed secrets are dangerous. Her influence, her position, her future, all were under threat as long as John's voice echoed through the land. So she waited, not with impatience, but with strategy. Then came the banquet, a room filled with officials, military commanders, influential men. This wasn't just a birthday, it was a political stage. Every decision made in that room would shape how Herod was perceived. Then the moment. Herodias' daughter danced. The room was captivated. The king, carried away by pride and performance, made a reckless vow.
Ask me for anything, up to half my kingdom.
It sounded generous, but it was foolish, because now the trap was set. The girl returned, coached by her mother, and made the request that would corner a king.
Give me the head of John the Baptist.
And just like that, politics closed in. Herod was grieved, but not enough to do what was right, because in that moment he wasn't thinking about justice. He was thinking about image, about how he would look in front of his guests, about the cost of breaking an oath in a room full of powerful witnesses. And so, to protect his reputation, he sacrificed righteousness. John was executed, not because truth lost its power, but because power refused to bow to truth. And here is the sobering reality. A prophet lost his life, not in a battlefield, but in a banquet hall. Not because of rebellion, but because of conviction. Not because he was wrong, but because he was right in a room that could not afford truth. And the question this leaves us with is uncomfortable. What happens when truth confronts power in our own lives? Do we stand like John, unshaken, uncompromising? Or do we become like Herod, knowing what is right, yet choosing what is convenient?